Good evening, friends. Greetings from near St. Louis, Missouri. I'm getting excited. I'm assembling the parts for a little Champ clone. I have the transformer, which I got from I don't know where. Fits in there just right. Ditto that with this output transformer. Really nice. I'm going to have to look this stuff up. And I've got some miscellaneous stuff here. I'm going to build a nice hardwood cabinet. This came from my buddy Bill Odell, the Blues Master Series. Alrighty. Made near USA, not in USA. Made near USA. And yeah, I'm waiting on the eyelet board, and I'll get moving on it. All right, with a minimum of tooth gnashing and hair tearing, and no, a minimum of tooth tearing and gnashing of hair. You know what I mean. Got some of these components already in there. This is going to be, by definition, a quicker build because there's a lot less components. This is fun. Progress. Very cool old Dacaware. Chicken head. Old fuse cap. This is why I scavenge and hoard. Progress. All right. Dug into my stash and found some cool unused, for once, some unused cool tube sockets and a wire to switch up. Next. Okay, so there's the primary wiring wired up, coming in from the wall. So here's my power cord. The hot is going to the fuse, and then from the fuse it's going to the switch back to the transformer on the black side. White side just going directly to the transformer. I'm going to plug it into the current limiter and make sure it's good. Okay, I'm going to do a quick check of the high voltage transformer. I got the switch on, and I'm gonna turn on my power and slowly crank it up and hope that nothing smokes. Here we go. I'm looking at the voltage, and it looks like the voltage is working correctly. I put it all the way up on the Variac. And nice. It's putting out 600 volts right there. That would really wake you up better than caffeine in the morning. Now I'm manipulating. Just turned it off. Switch works fine. Beautiful. Okay, the primary is correctly wired. Shutting it down. Got a little progress going on here. Got my high voltage red and my 5 voltage filament wires hooked up. Hot 5 volt. And I got, these are my virtual center taps for the 6 volt, which is coming in. And yeah, everything is beautiful in its hope. Shut up, LA. Okay, well, anyway, here we go. Onward. I'm going to start to populate the eyelet board now. All right, so here's my population progress. I'm following Rob Robinette's layout just to do the layout, and I'm also double checking it with this cool schematic that was on Rob Robinette's. It's a nice annotated schematic. Tells what all this stuff is doing. It's very educational. Anyway, going back to populating, this is my Bill O'Dell friend here. When you're heating, you know, you go through all this searching, because what I'm doing is I'm getting really close values, as close as I can, with my cool fluke meter that was donated by my pal Bill O'Dell, and I'm searching through for resistors that are really close to what the schematic says, and then you go to all that trouble and then you heat it up and potentially screw it up. So I use a little agulator or a crocodile clip, as they say down under, to kind of retain and hopefully give a little heat shrink protection there, just to when you're soldering. So onward. Cool cap, huh? Thanks, Bill. Another thing I do when using new old stock stuff, sand it. They get corroded. You don't want cold solder joints, so just sand the leads. Just remove a little of that oxidation. It'll possibly head off cold solder joints. Progress. I'm following another reason I'm liking another reason I'm following the layout is because I'm also doing the wires under here. I like that, you know, they did this for a reason, and I think a big reason they did it, yeah, it's not the greatest when you're trying to diagnose stuff, but it does, I believe, help with parasitic oscillation. And I'm going to rip all these out of here and put orange drops in there too. And if you believe that, I have some used monuments in the DC area for sale. All right, onward. Okay, that's what it's going to hopefully look like popularly. What's that? Why you got that like that? Because that's the bias, cathode bias resistor, which I may want to change the value of, depending. Okay, so calm down. All right. Yeah. And the three filter caps are on order. It should be in this week. And then, of course, I will double check everything as I wire it all in, poignantly, so to speak, until the sun goes supernova. All right. Moving onward. All right, I got a box here. I wonder what's in here. Oh, I'm so excited. Wow. That's a big box. Wonder what's in here. Man, I guess they wanted that to arrive safely. That is one big box. Thanks, Mojo Tone. All right, well, I got this eyelet board properly and pusillanimously populated. Next step is just to wire it in here, double checking everything as I go. I am going to double triple check all these to make sure these are all correct. I know I double checked it, but triple checking is the better way to go. So I was down at a recycle place and I picked up these two nice 1/2-inch pieces of oak. It was from Hall. I'm gonna make the Champ amp out of this. The Champ cabinet. I know the original was pine. This is so small. You know, so damn small that I could easily make it out of nice hardwood
oak. So that's what I'm going to do, George. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make an oak cabinet, George, and then I'm going to pet it and love it and call it George.
All right, I've gotten the eyelet board bolted in there, and I've started the wiring of all the stray wires here. And yeah, we're moving along pretty good here. All right, I believe I'll dust my broom. Looks like I got all the wiring done, except the heaters, which I'm going to now proceed to do. And I'm going to, as they say down south, I'm going to fire this sapsucker up. Oh, yeah. Something people don't think about when they're wiring heaters is polarized. I think it's polarized, where, in other words, if you got a string of tubes, let's say you got two 6L6s and several 12AX7s, make sure that each one goes to the same pin. In other words, don't go from, like on 6L6s, don't go from pin 1 to pin, whatever it is, pin 1 to pin 5, or sorry, pin 7. You know, just randomly. I mean, it'll work, but I think it's going to induce some kind of hum. But on this one, I don't have to worry about that because it's only one of each of the 6-volt tubes. A 12-volt. No, it's two 6-volts. Anyways, moving onward. Oh, yeah. Well, there's my messy filament wire. Hopefully,
I figure the odds be 50-50
that this thing's going to fire up without any magic smoke, blue flames, lightning, or other assorted fire floods or civic commotion. So I'm going to plug this sucker in with no tubes and measure all the voltages, filament voltage, blah, 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 real quick. And then I'm going to plug in a rectifier and do it again. Okay, first test. Let's just see if there's any smoke. I have the switch here on. So what I want to see is just that light glowing. And not that light glowing. So let's turn it on. Here we go. It's on 0 volts. And turning it up slowly. I got absolutely nothing from that bulb, which is good. Oops, sorry about the lighting here. Let me see if I can adjust that a little there. That's not much better. How about that? Looks like we're up to about 118, and that light is glowing really nicely. Got a slight hum from that transformer. Just means it's on, I guess. And nothing from the bulb. So now I'm going to plug in a rectifier and really get down and measure these medieval voltages. Okay, yeah, I've got it going on. I've got the rectifier in, and I'm getting really nice B plus in all the B plus places. So I guess I'm going to pick out a 6V6 and 12AX7 and fire this thing up and see if it works. So far, it looks really good. Well, after a bunch of head scratching, I have concluded that this power transformer, with the help from my pal Bill Odell, I concluded that this power transformer just doesn't have the freaking cojones to properly power this thing. The 7 P's. Prior proper powering prevents piss poor performance. So I sprang. I just went down and did the King Biscuit Festival. I came back with a pocket full of money. So I sprang for this Habor. This nice Habor power transformer. Specifically made for the Champ. I was doing some cursory glances, and look at this. Even though it fits in there, in that footprint, man, this sapsucker is twice as fat. Look at that. That would indicate to me that this thing has the proper cojonage to properly power this pretty pachydermic producer of amplification. So I'm going to swap this sucker out and proceed along as if nothing happened. All right. I have drawn a veil of obscurity over the hair gnashing and teeth tearing and cursing. And this is what I came up with. The new power transformer. You know, some people say it's false economy, trying to use repurposed stuff. I've had some good success, and I've had some not so good success using vintage, old, repurposed stuff. But I'll tell you one thing. It's definitely a learning experience. My troubleshooting skills, because I do this all as a learning process. My troubleshooting skills are definitely vastly improved. My understanding of amplifiers and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, so this one just is ready to fire up. So I'm ready to fire this up. I'm going to just plug it in without any tubes in it first into my current limiter to make sure everything works in the AC department. Alrighty. Alright, here we go. I've got it on 0 volts in my current limiter. I'm going to gradually turn it up in case there's any dead shorts. Looks like I got a glow there. I'm right up to about 120. And I got no dead glow, no glows, no dead shorts. On off switch works. Okay, I'm going to measure the voltages and plug in some tubes, see what happens. Alrighty, I'm ready to fire this little sapsucker up. Got it plugged into my usual signal generator and variac and current limiter. And here I go. I'm starting it at 0 volts. Let's see. I got the volume on about 2. The switch is on. And I'm going to just slowly, I'm going to crank it up to about 50 volts. Just to make sure there's nothing weird or crazy going on. And yeah, nothing from my current limiter bulb. So here I go. I'm going to crank it up to about 80. Oh, I got some pilot light action there. Not enough to fire the tubes up yet at 80 volts. Oh, actually, I take that back. It is, wow. Okay, I'm going up to 100 and, whoa, that's a, well, I guess it was the transformer. That thing's cranking. Wow. See what of course, I got it in a 12-inch speaker. Man, that's really nice. All right. Well, I'd say that's a success. I'm going to plug a guitar in and listen to it, but I got to get to building the cabinet now. So I'm actually going over to my in-laws today to cut some wood. So, all right, carry on. I'll build the cabinet and then I'll get back here with some sound check. Thanks for watching so far. So I hunted down a nice strong RCA, semi-smoked. You don't want the really heavily smoked glass. There's too much sodium in there. So I hunted down this smoked glass from my tube stash and put it in my Compu bias that was given to me by one of my store managers at one of my stores that I've worked at. And it's just, for a Champ, this is perfect. The 6v6 recommends 7 to 10 watts, and I'm hovering at 9.5 there. So, geez, I'm going to just leave that alone. I'm going to tack down the bias resistor here, because I don't need to adjust it, so I'm going to make that a little bit better connection. And then I'm pretty much going to button this up and carry on with the cabinet. I'm not going to show you all of the details of the cabinet building, but I'll just hit some highlights. I want to thank Charles, my cousin-in-law by marriage, I guess. Really cool guy. Great genius conversationalist and woodworker, among other things. Thanks, Charles. I'm going to show them some of the wood that I'm going to be making my cabinet out of. But this is done. Very nice. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Charles. Alrighty. Alrighty. Once again, thanks to my cousin-in-law, I've gotten 4 nice, straight, beautiful pieces of oak here. Slightly larger than a Champ. I'm leaning more and more towards squeezing them, squeezing a 10 into this cabinet, because rumor has it that a 10 even fits in a smaller Champ cabinet, and I'm going to make this about a 1/2 inch bigger all the way around. So next I'm going to do the box joints. For those of you that haven't seen previous videos, here's my rig for making box joints. You know, I use the router here. The one thing you got to make sure is that you stagger these, right? Don't do 2 of the same, because then you're going to have 2 of the same. You got to have male and female to make it work. Okay, yeah, I just assumed the gender of these joints. Oh, well. All right, here's all the pieces successfully cut. See how they're going to fit together, right? Over there, like that. And like that, see? And then this one, of course, is the, this one here is the top. You can see how I got them all, whoops, okay. Anyways, got them all matching, like that. All right, here they all are fitted together, tentatively. I mean, I've just tapped them together. I might have to do a little bit of filing in a couple of spots just to get them to fit. They're pretty snug, and it's not maple, or sorry, it's not spruce or pine, so it's not very forgiving. So I'm gonna have to probably just sand just a little, I'm not gonna say it, just a little scooch off of it, off of each of them. You know, they're fitting, but I don't want to split anything crazily, so that's going to be a nice snug fit. And it looks like I might be able to fit a 10-inch speaker in there. Yeah. I don't know if it goes this way. Ah, maybe it's actually, I think the amp goes like that. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Alrighty then. Looking good. All right, with a little filing of each joint, not much, just a little bit. Now I got a nice dry fit here. So I'm going to just squeeze a bunch of glue in there and clamp it up with my trusty clamps. Square it up with my speed square and let it dry. All righty. You know, I almost don't need clamps with this, but I'm going to clamp it anyway, but this is nice and square. This is more square than some of the Fender, factory Fender amps I've seen. Not too bad. All right, here it is, glued and clamped. It's out of square by about not even a 1/16 of an inch, so I'm letting it go. Let it dry. Next up, is doing the rounding, the edges all the way around, and the cutout for the amp, and rounding. Looks beautiful so far. Well, it's a beautiful day here near St. Louis. Late October, 75 degrees, 0 chance of rain. I'm going to let this set out in the sun for the better part of the day. Let it dry up. Then I'm going to make the cuts. There's going to be some interesting cuts I need to make. Alrighty then. I hate a router. Everything about a router, except the job that it does, is a pain in the ass. So here I am routing the front angle of the cabinet. As always, make sure you wear eye, ear, nose, and throat protection. Ah, the carnage of it all. Okay, I'm done with the routing on the cabinet. The nice round over. Yeah. Alrighty. Thanks, Adriana. Sure does look good in the light on this fall morning. Oh yeah. The old saw, measure twice before you cut once, is always true. I don't know why, but they put the screw holes in a different spot on the reissue. And I should have known better. No problem. I'll plug it with a nice rosewood dowel. And it'll be a nice spot that you can remind yourself every freaking time you turn the amp on. Measure twice before you cut once. Anyways, it's looking good. I'm measuring this to check for a 10-inch speaker fittage. Looks like this 10-inch eminence fits in there. You got, you know, a nice bit of clearance, gate mouth. Whoops. I got a 1/4 inch there. You know, and a 1/4 inch can make all the difference. Yes, sir? Of course, it's right down to the bottom of the cabinet there, but There's where all my beep went. I think it's going to work. I'm going for a 10. And what better candidate for a front baffle than this really nice plywood that I robbed out of that 56 Zenith hi-fi stereo. So it's been in the music business its whole existence just about. And I'm not putting any panels on the front. Wide or narrow. This is going to be a 0 panel. 0 panel. And with a sharp tool, a dull mind, and my Acme portable hole producer, there's nothing you can't accomplish. Look at that. It works great. I've showed this in other videos, but it's basically just a jigsaw with a proper hole, and it rotates around and cuts a really nice circle. All right. Here's my second attempt. I miscalculated on the measurements and screwed up that nice piece of 56 plywood. 50 lashes with a wet noodle. Oh well, this one will work. Here's the test fit. Perfetto. Leave a little wiggle room on the sides for the grill cloth. Alrighty. Just to show I'm a good sport, I cut these strips here, which will make this more stout, theoretically. Got to double check and make sure that's going to work out. And there's the side strips glued. Hey, you're not using clamping claws. Yeah, because the stuff fits so well, it's finger tight. This will not make any marks on the wood. It's finger tight. Progress on the cabinet. So I got the nice mounting screws mounted and epoxied in there. I made a plug matching the grain as close as I could. Once I sand it, you should be able to, should be better. Yep. And next step is I'm just going to do some filler in a couple of spots and then get to sanding. I also made a nice back door here for that amp cab. That's pretty sweet right there. Nice oak from a pallet. I found an oak pallet. I like the wormholes. I'm going to leave those, but I found a pallet of solid oak, so which I grabbed, of course. Nice. But before I do any of that, I'm going to cover the whole inside of this amplifier with vintage 40s and 50s sheet music. Yeah, that's going to look great. That'll titillate my sensibility. Here I am gluing in sheet music. Some people won't like it. There goes my give a beep. I like it. So I'm repurposing this grill cloth from this beautiful, I think it was a 56, might have been a 59 Zenith console stereo. And I'm just undoing the screws, these staples. And I'm going to scavenge these speaker screws out of here too. These are pretty cool. I'm gonna hang on to those too. The joys of being a pack rat. Jay signed off on this. And this is why I save shit. I mean stuff. Look at that. It fits perfectly on all three sides. I just have to fold that over. Huh. This is meant to be. Thanks, Zenith, for your late 50s beautiful grill cloth. More evidence of pack rattage. I'm going to use this piece of aluminum for the heat shield on the back panel of the amp. I'm going to leave this side out to show you what I think of the Fender Solid State series from the late 60s. Alrighty. Nice grill cloth. Man, that's going to be sweet alongside of that golden oak. So what I did is I got T-nuts on the other side of this. T-nuts. And these are going to be, these are the side, the side doohickeys that it's going to go through. Yep. All right, and they'll be glued in. I'm not going to screw them in. I mean, if they break loose, I'll screw them in, but I think they're going to be all right. Nice grill cloth. Already all right-a-miss. And the cabinet's patiently waiting for the final sheet music. Pretty nice. I love this. Smoke gets in your eyes. Yeah. Smoke gets in your eyes. All right. And the filler's all done. So now it's time to just sand this. I mean, there were just a couple little spots that needed filler. So now I'm going to sand and finish this sucker once I glue that last panel in there. Alrighty, here's the top back panel. Cut it out on the the table saw, my little portable table saw. Now I'm going to cut this out with, I'm going to cut that line right there, which I've scored. With tin snips. I know it's aluminum. I hope nobody, I don't have a license to use tin snips with aluminum, but I'm going to risk it. Now I'll flatten this sucker out with my rawhide hammer on this pseudo anvil that my dearly departed buddy bartered me. Hoopa Johnny. Rest in peace, Hoopa. A definitely misunderstood genius. Anyways, flattening it out on this anvil-ish. Alrighty. Temperatures dropped quite a bit. It's down in the upper 40s. I got this, got the sheet music glued inside there. Some people aren't going to dig that, but you know, I don't really care. Got it sanded to 120, and I got the front speaker braces glued in. And a lot of these kids these days, what is that Chinese writing there on the inside there? It looks like Chinese math. Yeah, okay. Anyways, looks cool. And yeah, let these dry up and do a little more sanding and staining. Yeah, I like this honey stain. Now I'm going to put several coats of poly on there. Satin. It's going to look great. All right, well, here's the wait you've all been momenting for. The often anticipated and feared sound test. So I'm using my homebrewed La Paul, a sound that has thrilled tens of fans across the neighborhood. And I've got it on about 5 of 12. Alrighty, 8 of 12, and I got it set with my T-bone setting. Here it is, cranked, neck position. Okay, well that just about does it for this oversized Champ blues amp. Coming soon to a arena near you. Thanks for watching. Hope this helps.